Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is a Let's Play Persona 4 Arena Part 28. In the previous video, we continued with Labrys' storyline and we got to make some pretty hefty progress. Go ahead and keep on keeping on with it. The sun rises and the next day arrives. After coming out of standby, I'm ordered to enter the shock-resistant chamber once again. From what I am told, it is for a different purpose than the combat test. Soon afterwards, the three researchers who supervise the feedback downloads appear.
Sounds like it's decided. We'll discontinue use of the name Unit Number 031.
But I love Unit Number 031.
Generation 5 Labrys will be this unit's new name.
Labrys.
No, actually you have to say the full thing. You have to say Generation 5.
That's your name. The official one's much longer. Generation 5 Anti-Shadow...
Really? You don't remember? You work on the damn project? It's not that freaking complicated. There's, like, in terms of, like, complicated acronyms and code names, 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon is, like, nowhere near the top.
5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon Labrys. How hard is that to remember?
Yeah, the 5G ASSWL. Easy.
Labrys.
It's designation by a name that is not a number. I never questioned being called 031 until now. Nothing about it seemed awkward. I wonder why. I am happy now to have acquired a name. Even if my designation changes, it will not have a concrete effect on my abilities. But by discarding my number for a name, I feel as if I am no longer one of a series with minute variations. I am a discrete individual. That may be why. I found myself smiling as a result.
From now on, the battles you fight will not be to test your performance. They'll be geared toward drawing out a persona. First, you will fight all the remaining units of your model type. Your objective is to destroy them. Every last one.
Yeah, pass.
Huh?
We are smart science people, yet we can never see a reality in which this backfires on us. I am perplexed at the disconnect between their tone of voice and the specifics of the order. Fight against all remaining units of my model type? Destroy every last one of them?
The fear impulse and self-preservation instinct seem to be the key to activating a persona. This is the most effective method of inducing extreme mental stress.
Actually, you know, you just have to like shake hands with like a god or whatever. That's the other way to do it. Well, sorry, we haven't introduced that concept yet.
Stress? Come on, you don't have to go this far.
Huh? Well, that's a first. And none of them have ever protested like that. Well, at least that's a sign that its ego is developing.
You told me it was over. I thought I wouldn't have to do these things anymore.
You.
Ain't there some other way? If there is, please, let me do that instead. I don't want to fight him anymore.
The three researchers look at me with apparent surprise on their faces. Did my protest get through to them? I hope so, but...
That's a surprise. Such natural speech patterns. I hadn't thought its personality would develop this fast.
All the data's being recorded now. Let's compare them and look at which stages they improve at.
They smile while muttering to themselves. I am at a complete loss for words. They are not machines, but humans, and on top of that, they are my creators. Surely they are able to understand what I am saying. Yet their current expression... Until now, I thought that they were understanding people who treated us as close to human. I was wrong. I am only an object to them. No matter what I say, they will see it only as a response to stimulus. Behind their gentle attitudes, we are nothing more than test subjects they hold no emotional attachment to. They do not focus on what I'm saying. They are only interested in it as a reaction. The researchers ignore my stunned silence and hastily leave the chamber. Their figures are hidden behind the hatch. Soon, with a terrible low-pitched sound, the hatch on the other side begins to open. Wherever the opponents come through. I will be forced to fight again today, and in the days to come I must continue to destroy my opponents each time. cannot find the words I want to say. I slowly turn my head towards the hatch. But what I see there truly leaves me at a loss for words.
No.
The opponent emerging from the hatch is 024. There's no smile or sadness on her face. She is quietly standing there, expressionless. Well, we all knew it was going to happen. 024 steps into the chamber while gazing at my face. The hatch slowly closes behind her.
No. Why?
Even I do not know who the question is addressed to. Why is she here? Because she was ordered? I have to fight her now? It is not quite sinking in yet, but in a sharp tone I have never heard from her before, she tells me what I must do.
Draw your weapon.
I can't.
If you don't fight, you'll lose. I will end up destroying you. Are you willing to accept that?
Why? Why are you saying this stuff?
024 ignores my question and reaches behind her back with her right hand. The multi-use weapon unit releases from her back. It becomes a great sword in her right hand. It is approximately 1.5 meters, as long as she is tall. It is also alarmingly wide and fitted with propulsion devices. It's difficult to process seeing the weapon pointed at me.
If you fear being destroyed, if you have a heart capable of fear, then there's no need to hesitate. That alone gives you the right to attack me with all your strength.
But doesn't the same go for you?
Not help but plead. 024 does not answer, but it appears that a very small smile forms on her
You
lips.
said there was someone you wanted to meet. I can't fight you knowing that.
I turn and appeal to the researchers watching us from the other side of the glass wall.
Come on! Stop this! I don't want to fight anymore!
Press against the transparent wall and continuously strike it with my fist. Though my safety limiters are disabled, it must be coated with something. Can't even scratch it. Researchers standing on the other side are completely expressionless. It's as if they are machines themselves. Beg and plead, but they do not respond. If only there wasn't this clear glass wall between us. So frustrated. Why? I then hear 024 speak up weakly behind
Only
me.
one of us can exit this chamber.
Huh?
They never told you since you were strong enough that battles never lasted very long. But that's the rule of this place. The only time the door leading beyond that transparent wall opens is when one of us is considered unable to fight. From the start, this whole setup never took our feelings into account.
I can say nothing. I can see from her words what atrocious battles were forced upon her.
But talking like this is a waste of time. I can see I won't spur you into fighting with just words alone.
As soon as she finishes, 024 leaps into the air, swinging her sword at me, her jet sword. I quickly jump back and barely dodge the attack. Her sword slashes the space where I'd been at the speed that could have killed me. The tip grazes the chamber floor, red sparks fly. She is serious. It finally sinks in. I jump away to put distance between us.
I don't intend to meekly accept my destruction. I have my own goal after all. Now, fight me.
I have no choice but to fight, but a thought crosses my mind. In terms of basic combat strength, mine is probably higher. Using my usual tactics, I should be able to destroy her weapon and disable enough of her servos to prevent her from attacking. 024's ego is without a doubt more highly developed than mine. It must be of value to the researchers. If I can render her incapable of acting, I may be able to avoid the order to destroy her when she is down. I decide to bet on that possibility. I shift my priorities and fight back with all my strength. I cannot do this empty-handed. I remove my own multifunction weapon from my back and shape it into a battle axe. It pains me to do this, but it's the only way. I repel 024's persistent sword strikes and go for a counterattack. I aim for the great sword's clasp with my battle axe. After a number of hits, it shatters. My next target is the transmission system for her shoulder and knee joints. In terms of output and movement itself, I detect various differences between us. Amongst those of my unit type I awaken latest. Compared to O24, not only my personality module, but my limbs as well have been upgraded to the latest versions. It's only a matter of time. O24 loses virtually all offensive capabilities and falls to the floor. As I planned, O24 is mostly undamaged apart from her weapon and motor functions. I immediately turn towards the researchers behind their invisible wall and raise my voice.
Isn't this enough? She had that ego thing way before me.
Yeah, I didn't really, I probably should have made that connection sooner, but I didn't realize it until they used the phrase invisible wall that that's where the walls come from, is being able to see the researchers but not do anything to get past them. I mean, I recognize, you know, the nobody can leave function, like how that's carried over to the main story, but that's a neat little bit.
Destroying her won't do anyone any good. Come on, have a heart.
But hearing this, the researchers only laugh. Their faces are as joyous as when they see results that surpass their expectations. Why? What in this situation could cause such joy? O24's body, collapsed on the floor, suddenly begins to convulse. It goes still for a few seconds, then although it should not be able to move, it drags itself up.
Huh? What the?
Unpleasant metallic sounds are coming from all over her body. It indicates that she is undergoing unreasonable stress. Still, no expression appears on O24's face. It's a cold, doll-like void. It's similar in appearance to a newly activated unit. I know as soon as I look at her. She would never make a face like this on her own.
What did you do to her?
It'll be coming at you with everything it has now. You better not hold back either. Number 024 had an excellent record against others of its model. Even you might have a hard time beating this one, Labrys.
I unconsciously found myself biting my lip. We are weapons. In other words, we are tools. Of course there would be a means to issue orders remotely. Recall what the one researcher said. This is the most effective method of inducing extreme mental stress. In other words, the more strongly I desire O24's survival, the stronger my reaction will be when forced to destroy her. That's why they laughed. I can sense the strength draining from my shoulders. There's nothing more I can attempt. All I can do is end her. Behind me, O24, or rather her animated shell, approaches me, its limbs shaking. I suppress all thoughts unrelated to tactics and slowly turn around. My body goes cold, my arms move into position as if controlled by someone else, and ready my weapon. It was not a close fight. Once I decided to finish this, once I was resolved to stop her, O24 as she is now stood no chance against me. It's like a really well done moment. I fall to my knees next to O24. Her limbs have been shattered. She'll never rise again. My processors are overloaded with things I cannot understand. I feel as if all processing is slowed. 24's face has turned to the ceiling.
Are you not gonna look at me anymore? You're not gonna smile again?
Did not expect her to respond, but O24's face moved slightly. I stare at her without knowing how to react. She turns her gaze to me and smiles.
I'm sorry to leave you alone. I leave the rest to you.
Those were the last words she spoke. I can't believe this. There's a smile on O24's dead face. She's smiling at the one who destroyed her and robbed her of her dream. All at once, everything hits me in a torrent of emotion and data. Lost her. Did it. Took everything from her. My vision begins to fade. My thoughts go with it. I cannot determine whether the lights are actually dimming or if that is only my perception. It's too much to handle. I collapse to the ground helplessly, like a crumbling statue. Then you kill the researchers! I mean, I don't condone murder, but like, what if they just happen to not be alive anymore? Just as a quinky dink. The next time I awaken, I'm lying inside a cage. It seems I was carried out of the test chamber. The download of O24's feedback data is about to begin. Researchers seem to have taken my sudden loss of consciousness seriously. I am confined in a cage instead of sitting in the usual maintenance chair. The researchers keep repeating the word, interesting. So this is how they react when extreme mental stress is induced. I can hear their voices clearly. They seem to derive pleasure from the fact that I lost consciousness due to mental stress rather than physical damage. Cables are connected to my body, one after another. The data download begins. All of O24's information, combat data, various records, and the memories she experienced. All of it flows into me. My eyes widen in surprise. I guess she's gonna maybe find out about the girl. Everything is so vibrant. So clear that it's indistinguishable from actually experiencing them. I mean, like, it doesn't really make, but I'm guessing, like, the girl is Labrys that she's talking about. So the first time I've ever, I mean, it's the only thing that really makes sense of who she could possibly know. All of the images are linked to records of the emotions she felt in relation to them. They are so strongly linked that my screening protocols cannot distinguish them from human thought. The outdoor area where we spent time. The big tree whose branches we examined. That sound of water we heard periodically. Snowy runs around and playing. As I relive O24's experiences, I pick up on an unfamiliar voice. There's no associated image data. Only the voice can be heard. It's a female voice. Female researcher at this facility, but this voice belongs to a younger person, still in human developmental stages. Oh,
I know the world is a big place. And I know that there's a lot of people in it. But I won't be able to see it for myself, or meet many of them. I know that too. I'm too weak for that.
Speech is different from the researchers and those of my unit type. It's very similar to my own speech output.
Thinking about it has made me sad more than once. But I didn't want to do nothing and be left with regrets. That was when my mom and dad looked into some options. And we decided to go with this experiment. If even a sick girl like me could make herself useful to others in this world, I thought I ought to go for it.
What could this be? I know only that she is female. In a situation where her condition prevents her from moving freely. It seems that instead of lamenting that fact, she has decided to volunteer for an experiment of some kind. Where did O24 hear this voice? Did she know this person? I wish I could ask her, but that's no longer possible.
At first, I kept wondering how much I could really contribute. But after hearing more and more about the program, I started to wonder about the others more than myself.
Others. It's strange that when I hear that I feel O24's heart waver. Was she surprised? Perhaps. Even I feel something unexplainable.
Yeah, my big wish is to make myself useful to this world. But the ones born from me... Is born the right word for it? Kind of embarrassing. My other wish is that the ones born from me are happy. I doubt I'll be able to talk to them in person or stay with them, but I still wish from the bottom of my heart that they all have happy lives.
People's voices have unique characteristics. In the past, I would have expressed it as a variance in waveform, but each has what could be called its own texture and temperature to it. This voice sounds very warm and kind. I would like to listen to more of it, but the speech ends there. There are no more related memories from O24. While the cables disconnect, I decide to search the archives for results matching that voice. Sadly, there are no results, but during the search, I suddenly remember something. An archive given to me by O24 last night. Quickly open the folder and find a single text file inside.
If you are reading this, then I have most likely been destroyed. It may be that you already understand the concept of guilt, but you have done nothing wrong.
You are still safe and everything is over. You must have been if I defeated her in combat. O24 knew what would happen to those who lost in the trial. What emotions was she feeling then? What was she going through, her mind, as she prepared this file? I feel something wrench inside my chest.
I happened to access certain data during the feedback treatment and learned something. Artificially creating a personality from scratch is very difficult, though they hope to achieve it in 2 generations. But those of our model were actually made from the template of a certain girl's personality. That includes you and I. She had left a recording for the units created using her personality. A message for those of us who did not yet exist. That's what I heard. She speaks in a strange way, like you. I thought, we really are connected to her.
Think about that unknown voice. The experiment the voice spoke of was related to our development, after all. The owner of that voice was speaking to us.
The one who gave birth to us loved us. When I understood that, I felt like my eyes were opened. Though my life was filled with suffering, my birth had meaning. I firmly believe that. I want to meet her. I need to tell her thank you for giving birth to us and for loving us. This was not an order from the scientists. It was an objective I made for myself. So if you can understand my feelings, I'd like you to do this in my stead. Give our mother my thanks.
Now O24 must have wanted to meet this girl who she saw as our mother. She must have longed to thank the girl in person. The data within me, her heart, tells me so. During the time when she was ordered to destroy her sisters, this wish must have been her only hope. Yet it did not come true. I shattered it. One she herself said was the only thing who understood her. She must have been devastated. But the letter ends the way I least expected.
Though we knew each other for only a short time, I'm glad I met you. I feel the same right now as our mother did. I wish from the depths of my heart for you to be happy.
And that kind of hit. So it was, it's kind of, I wasn't really on that line of the personalities being based on a real person. 'Cause I don't think they never really established that for Aigis, which I guess they kind of added in that caveat that it would be in 2 generations, you know, her generation, they wouldn't need to do that anymore. So that was kind of interesting. So it was essentially kind of Labrys was the girl in a way. Or that Labrys has like the most distinct, like, I don't know how to really phrase it, but like she's most similar to the girl. Like the base. And I do kind of like that her even having that accent is like a story element. It's pretty cool. Shocked. How can she feel that way towards someone who may one day destroy her? I realized then that the visual input from my optics is experiencing distortion for some unknown reason. An unfamiliar source of water trickles down my cheek.
Labrys, is she crying?
So she is. I can't believe we're actually seeing a machine being driven to tears.
But like, how'd that work?
But its mental graphs are clearly abnormal. What kind of information did it download?
Who knows? That's one thing the graphs can't tell us.
We should take care to limit our studies to just the battle data.
Like, are these people like actually trying to be dumb?
It doesn't need any sentimental memories. You can delete those. Why make a weapon so emotional that it can cry?
Like the whole point, like their experiment doesn't really make much sense. Like our whole point is to make a human-like robot so that it can awaken a persona and fight the shadows. Oh, they're acting a little too human. Can't have that. Delete them. Something roars within me. It drowns out the feelings for O24 and our mother that have filled my heart.
Delete! Like hell you're deleting my memories!
Under no circumstances will I allow what O24 left me to be deleted for their convenience. I will not forgive this selfishness. We have been treated callously by the researchers in this laboratory. They gave us hearts, yet made us destroy those of our unit type as enemies. We killed our sisters at their command. We refused our desires were overridden, and we became their puppets. The wishes of the girl who desired our happiness were not taken into consideration. Now, even the few memories that O24, my sisters, and I have accumulated are about to be erased like trash. Though their aim is to develop our ego, they find it inconvenient for us to have real hearts. These feelings within me may be erased, perhaps too my heart itself. If that happens, will I resume killing my sisters without hesitation? What is least forgivable is that the proof that O24 had lived, their last wishes, will be permanently lost. My hands are squeezed in a tight fist, they make a small grinding noise. The goal that O24 found for herself was left to me. I will carry it out as my own now. I will burn it into my heart as my goal. It is a duty I impose on myself gladly. Nothing will make me surrender to it. Or surrender it. Kind of changes the meaning of the sentence. It must be fought for. Or rather, it must be protected, even if it means fighting.
What the? Its emotions are spiking into the red. I've never seen anything like this.
What the? An emotional robot?
Hey, what's that warning? No. Labrys is in battle mode?
What? That can't be. There aren't any enemies. We're the only ones here.
I am able to release all my limiters despite being inside the cage. Researchers monitoring me on their tablet PCs seem perplexed and alarmed by this. They should be. They are witnessing an override of the principle of non-aggression towards humans. They are flustered and too panicked to speak clearly, as they announce that an emergency has occurred. One of them steps away from the cage I'm in and reaches for a switch with warning labels around it. Suddenly, restraints appear to bind my limbs.
Are you saying those mental fluctuations were enough to override the OS's restrictions?
That plume's playing pranks on us. Hey, hurry up and delete those memories.
These memories in my heart are not unnecessary.
We are!
Something I have not felt until now, a sensation like heat spreads throughout my body. A trembling, burning wave rises within me. Soon afterwards, I realize that this is an emotion. There is a name for this feeling. It's anger. I breathe out all my strength into my restrained limbs. Restraints are designed to withstand up to twice our calculated maximum output. Trying to escape is therefore logically doomed to failure. Even so, I continue to muster my strength. It's not because I judge it a viable course of action. I'm not merely executing an order. I'm acting based on my emotions. It does not matter if the restraints can be destroyed or not. I wish to destroy them. The metal parts in both my limbs and the restraints begin to creak.
How's it doing that? There's no way those things are strong enough to break the restraints.
It's outputting over 220% of its theoretical strength limit, even though its joint actuators are operating at only 70% capacity.
That's not possible. That doesn't even make any sense. What's driving this thing?
I'm not gonna let you take those memories! I made her a promise!
You think they'd have some sort of like EMP failsafe, you know, instead of just like strong restraints. The next moment, a rupturing sound like a small explosion. I mean, that maybe is what they're doing. A rupturing sound like a small explosion shakes the entire room. The heavy metallic bands restraining my arms and legs shatter. No, they don't. I feel like there should be some sort of something. Granted, they maybe also, like, it doesn't work, you would think. I don't really know how they would make it not work, but you would kind of guess your robots would want to have some resistance to that, because that seems like the obvious countermeasure. But I guess if we're fighting shadows, though, what's a shadow gonna do? You're not using them for conventional warfare, so yeah, they shouldn't have any EMP resistance. I don't know. Seems like a pretty obvious failure. I jump out of the cage and run towards the open door. I must escape from here. I have to get out and see the girl who loved us, though we were not yet created. To fulfill O24's wish, which has now become mine. But when I enter the hallway connected to the outdoor area, I am met with barricades and heavy artillery.
Oh, Mom! I ain't even got any projectile weapons!
My sister units and I have never been equipped with firearms. I recall it being due to concerns over our unit's mentality affecting the accuracy of its aim. Instead, we were given short-range weaponry, a chain arm, and the other implements in my case, but they are not sufficient to deal with the range of firearms. However, I do have countermeasures. By using the flexibility and adapting to situations of my developed mind, I dodge the complex projectile trajectories and destroy the opposition. Eventually, I reach the end of the hallway and exit to the outdoor area. I have not seen this environment before. The trees are the same species as those that grow near the facility, but these specimens are much larger. Where am I? The question did not cross my mind until now. Where am I? Where are we? I cannot use the GPS that should be installed in me. It seems the research facility blocks GPS signals outside of its walls. This is probably to prevent its location from being pinpointed. Is there anything in the environment that can help us determine my location? The blue sky that I am seeing for the first time is stunning, but irrelevant. Then I notice a periodic sound of liquid in the distance. Ah, that is the sound of the ocean. The answer came easily to my mind. One of my sisters must have taken an interest in it and learned what it was. My sisters are helping to keep me alive now. When I think of that way, a burning feeling arises from deep within my chest. But none of what I see in my surroundings is helpful. Is there anything else by which I can determine my location? Any landmarks or signposts? I scan my surroundings while running past. These trees obstructing my view. They are unique species. That may be a hint. I review the tree's characteristics once more and run another search on them. I attempted this once already, but there is much more data available to me now. Once again, results come easily. This variety of tree is known as a cedar. It's found in many habitats, but the cedars here are unique. The tree's shape and age, it implies, is so different that it is nearly a separate species. That is because of differences in the environment. It may be useful in determining my location. That's when an unfamiliar sound reaches my ears. The heavy rumble of what sounds like a motor. It seems that they have dispatched a vehicle to pursue me. I expected this. Their response was swift. It seems that they had measures in place in the event one of us escaped. When the vehicle stops behind me, fully armed personnel pour out of it. They move to surround me from both the left and the right. It's an obvious response. No matter how much power I may have, I am alone. The optimal solution would be to overwhelm me with numbers. I try to shake them off by running faster. But soon afterwards I reach the main gate of the laboratory. A high steel edifice. It's tightly sealed. A number of heavily armed guards are protecting it. I stop. There's nowhere else to go.
Labrys, come back here! You're too useful a unit to destroy! You need to get back here to be regulated! That's your role in all this!
I cannot be destroyed here. But I cannot be captured either. They will surely delete my memories. They will take my wish and everything else that was given to me. What purpose even is there in avoiding destruction if that is what awaits me? The only option available are whether my wish dies with me, whether it's stolen away.
I ain't gonna let you destroy me. And not just because I don't want to be destroyed. I...
The moment I focus my concentration to remove the limiters on my onboard weaponry, I sense an unknown strength rise within me. Directly afterwards, something that cannot be quantified fills my body and the surrounding area.
Huh? What the...
The pursuit vehicle suddenly stops. The research staff gets off, one after another, shocked.
This reading! Is it on the verge of a persona reaction?
Shit, it's awakened? Ah, damn it, why now?
Well, at least this proves that mental stress is the key to activating a persona.
Who cares about that right now? It's not fully awakened yet, but with it still unstable, we don't know what it's capable of.
I am intrigued by their statements.
Persona?
I knew that we had the means, but I was not aware of controlling anything. I do not know if it could be called a power, nor do I know how to use it. But I can tell that the others are afraid. I seize the opportunity and run towards the main gate. There's a slight possibility that I can reach the door without attracting any gunfire, and vault over the door with my legs and chain arm. The moment I reach the gate, I launch my chain arm towards the upper threshold of the door. But the moment the arm grabs the ledge, something emerges. A much greater power touches the door as well. Suddenly, the door crumples like paper and a large hole forms in the upper half.
Now it's done it!
We need to hurry! If it's that strong already, we won't be able to stop it once its persona completely awakens!
That's... persona.
But I quickly regain my senses. I burst out of the facility and single-mindedly jump outside. My feet touch the ground on the outside world for the first time. They will most likely not let me escape. Fortunately, the door is badly damaged. It should take time until it can be opened enough for vehicles to pass through. I need to gain as much distance and time as possible, and then... It's then that I realize I do not have a destination in mind. Who is the girl O24 wished to see? Where can I go to meet her? The only clue I have is the idiosyncrasies of the girl's speech. I have learned that distinct speech patterns are often associated with specific regions. I should begin by traveling to where that style of speech is common. It is reckless, but I feel confident. At the very least, I can get closer to the girl than I am now. Although my situation is dire and I am under pursuit, internally I am cheerful. There's a bounce in my step. For some reason, I cannot remain calm. There is a definite, like, you know, kind of sadness to it, knowing that she doesn't get away in the end, right? It is also kind of, I mean, you never really, like, in the series so far, you haven't really seen, like, Persona stuff happen in the real world, so it is kind of cool to actually have a scene where you see how strong they potentially are. Because, you know, any fighting's always done in the vacuum of, like, in, you know, Tartarus or, what you call it, the TV world, or like in the original series, they're not really, you know, those are a bit too graphically limited. In that regard, so that's actually kind of cool. Because like they're just not really, because I mean the first two Persona games do take place in the real world, but there's not really, from what I remember, I've never beaten 2, but I played a decent amount of it. There's no real scenes of like people doing cool shit on the overworld like that. Just then, 5 meters ahead, something white and fluffy crosses my path. It is Snowy. It notices me and approaches. I'm worried about my pursuers, but I cannot dismiss O24's beloved Snowy. I lower my speed and run with it. I then notice that the scenery we're passing is calm. My surroundings are very different now. The blue sky that was previously obstructed by the trees is now clearly visible. The green grass is shining vibrantly in the light of the sun. There's a deeper blue than the sky ahead. Many lines of white run across it.
Is that the ocean?
Snowy barks as if in answer. I feel like it is saying, that's right. I could not previously comprehend Snowy. I did not have an interest in trying. But now I can grasp what Snowy is saying, as if I could speak its own language. I know that it feels happy to be able to run with me. I feel as if O24 is inside me. Though we were forced apart, she certainly left me many things. Not only her wish, but other things as well.
I'll find her come hella high water. Are you with me, Snowy?
Snowy barks energetically. I respond with a thanks and a smile. O24 and Snowy are encouraging me. Though I do not have any clues, I will find her, no matter what happens or how long it takes. I search my current location once more. Now that I am further from the research facility, I can use my GPS to triangulate my position. But on seeing the results, I cannot help but stop running. Snowy stops a little further ahead and then returns to me. Current location is Yakushima, within the Kagoshima Prefecture. It's a remote island far from shore.
No.
The island's perimeter is only 132 kilometers. In such a limited area, it will be a matter of time before a full-scale manhunt apprehends me. The research facility must have been built on an island in anticipation of such situations. Even if someone were to escape the facility, the island's geography would contain them. It's essentially a natural prison. I do not want to believe it. But my hope was meticulously strangled before it was born. I cannot wait here to be captured. Begin running again. Though as expected from my position data and map, I immediately reached the ocean.
So this is the ocean. Ha! It's so huge. I can't see anything out there at all.
I look at the glistening surface of the ocean, reflect the sun's lights, and ponder its beauty. Not a loss. Though I knew it would come to this, I could not stand idle. Despite this, my feelings sink. Snowy looks up at me from time to time as I stop running and begin walking. Its gesture of concern forces me to smile and tell it that I'm alright. The forest becomes a grove, the trees grow sparser. The blue ocean and the sandy soil leading up to it spread before my eyes. I check my map again. This is not an uninhabited island. There's a means for people to come and go, but I doubt that I will be able to use those methods freely without arousing any suspicion. I gaze down at my own hand. It's completely unlike a human hand. It's an object sculpted from metal.
Well, that's a problem. What should I do?
My question seems to dishearten Snowy.
Come on, don't give me that look. Ah, well. Maybe it's my fault for getting so frustrated. Sorry, Pooch.
Just as I'm about to crouch and pat Snowy's head, Snowy moves as if avoiding me.
Snowy?
Snowy circles around behind me and growls towards the way we just came. Train my sensors in that direction and sense presences in the distance. They may be keeping their distance on purpose. Since I have no firearms, they must understand that their effective range exceeds mine.
Looks like they're coming.
Amongst the human soldiers are a small number of my sister units. Is it possible that I can convince them not to fight me? I dismiss the idea as hopeless. Though they may have awakened to their ego after my escape, they will be under their commander's control. Even if that is not the case, they may think that their orders are absolute, just as I once did.
Knowing why they're here doesn't make it any easier to deal with them.
It does not seem as if they will all attack at once. They must understand that I'm already at the ocean and have nowhere to escape. I do not want to surrender, but I am frustrated by my powerlessness. To be caught like this, I have my own mission to accomplish. The ocean sparkles, the periodic sound of water I once heard from afar echoes from it. As I gaze at the clear water while it ebbs and flows, a mysterious feeling rises in me.
Wow. Look at that. It's beautiful.
My opponents show no indication of moving. Step out onto the sand. After cataloging that sensation, I approach the pier stretching to the ocean. When I step onto it, the wooden planks creak. I can hear Snowy's light tread behind me as well. I stand at the end of the pier and look out to the ocean. I wonder if she is beyond that ocean that seems to stretch forever. The girl O24 wanted to meet. The girl that I wish to meet as well. This mother figure who loved us and wished for our happiness. All my thoughts turn to the girl whose face I do not know, and decide to preserve the ocean's beauty in my memory. After all, it may be the last time I'll be able to see the ocean as myself. The odds are high that when I am restrained and returned to the facility, my memories will be wiped. I'm scared. I'm frustrated. I do not want to be erased. But I do not think all my hopes are lost yet. This may be the end of me. But just as I inherited the memories of O24 and the other units, my memories will surely endure into the next generation. So I'll keep these feelings, along with this beautiful ocean scene, deep within the origin of my heart. There it cannot be erased or tampered with. The blue sky and ocean, shining sun and glittering water, and the gentle breeze and calm sounds of the waves. The scenery from this pier is so stunning that it is unimaginable from inside the research facility. I'm glad that the last place I see is so beautiful. With the ocean before me, I speak to any future sisters that I have yet to meet. It might be called a type of prayer.
To all the ones I'll never meet, but will receive my memories.
My emotions race ahead of my thoughts. I cannot find the right words to say.
There's so much I want to say to you that I don't know where to start.
I close my eyes again and calm my heart. My descendants, whom I will probably never meet. You ever find someone precious to you as I did with O24 and wish to meet them? May you meet them here. May you go beyond this pier to the places I could not. Oh, that got me.
From the bottom of my heart, that everyone can find happiness.
Yeah, I'm not gonna admit the may you find them here got me.
As long as that happens, I don't mind if I...
Even though my wish may not come true, I'm still satisfied if I can entrust it to someone I believe in. O24 said something along those lines.
Could this be it?
Snowy rubs against my leg. Is it warning me to be cautious of my pursuers who have arrived and are coming closer? Or does it only want me to pet it? I look closely and realize that it's the latter. It must be worried. I crouch down and scratch Snowy's head.
Hey, Snowy. You think this is what it means to feel alive?
Snowy looks at me while wagging its tail. I pick up Snowy and gently hug it. Snowy shows no sign of resistance and allows me to do so. My pursuers are closing in now, but I'll not run anymore. It's true that I'm still frustrated, but it's strange. I'm also satisfied. Snowy licks my cheek.
I'll be okay now. Things are about to get hairy, so you should hurry and get out of here.
I let Snowy go, but it does not leave me.
Come on. If you don't go, it'll make things hard on me. Okay?
Snowy looks at my face for a while. Eventually it droops its head and walks off. Snowy looks back several times, but soon disappears into the tall grass. My relief is cut short by 5 armed humans pointing their guns at me. I have no intention of resisting. I smile at them. Though it was only for a short while, I lived. I felt the happiness of passing down my wish. It was only for a brief moment in time, but I may have been granted the wish of the girl who is our mother. I allow myself to be restrained without resistance. They take me back to the laboratory. I was so absorbed in my escape attempt that I did not notice the severe damage I inflicted upon the facility. It seems that the delicate machinery used to tamper with my memories is in no condition to be used.
Damn it! Look at this mess!
But yeah, the line about on the pier, it kind of got me a little bit. It didn't quite like make me cry per se, but maybe if I wasn't recording, it probably could have got me. Because there's there's kind of a like the way it relates to Igus is really cool. Because you meet her on her pier as well, and even just the line about to her descendants and the way that Igus gets the, like she's able to sense her memories when they're in the TV world and her storyline. That's really cool. So I am really glad that we did Igus's storyline first, or else I think that moment wouldn't have quite hit as hard. Like seeing that, you know, her wishes kind of already come true there.
Going after humans? Oh, I bet the girl they used as a template for this model was a snotty brat too. Even if we delete its memories, it'll be too dangerous to keep using this unit.
There are so many things about it I want to research, though.
It's not worth the risks. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon will be sealed indefinitely once it's fully restrained again.
The voice is the last thing I hear before my consciousness is cut off. So there is some stuff that still kind of needs to be explained though, right? Like we don't really know what the connection to Inaba is, like why she went there, or where the whole mind altering stuff came from. Because I mean, if she's still under this assumption that she can find, I mean, there's also the kind of sad element of like, you know, the girl that she's based on doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's very, you know, the implication that she's got a terminal sickness and, you know, died long ago. That it could be that maybe she was from Inaba, like she figures that out and goes there in search of her. But we haven't really established why she would have the mind altering stuff, right? If they're about to lock her up, if she never actually ends up being used like as a weapon. My consciousness should have been shut down, but I have awakened.
This place. It's that ocean.
I am on that pier. Blue sky and ocean. Shining sun and glittering water. And the gentle breeze and calm sounds of the waves. Even Snowy is next to me. The scene is identical to the one from before. Though this time I sense no pursuers. I was captured. I remember that clearly. This is obviously an abnormal situation, at odds with my memories, but the clear blue sky and ocean are still so beautiful that I cannot help but gaze at them. If only I could go beyond it. Just as the thought crosses my mind, my viewpoint ascends. Soon afterwards, I realize that I am floating, as if my body is weightless. I am astonished at myself to be thinking such strange things. Then my field of vision drifts and I turn my attention to that. The scenery I knew already begins to mix with the other environments I do not know. They become a connected, continuous image and pass like a slideshow. From time to time I pass through the drifting images, but I cannot grasp anything within those spaces. Even when they are about to collide with me, they pass right through. Could this be dreaming? I remember something I once heard from a researcher at the facility. They said that it's possible for us to dream since we have a mind and may develop an ego. Though it would technically not be identical to a human's dream, the phenomenon would still be very similar. I feel that the example the researcher gave of what a dream is like matches my current experience. If I'm having a dream, then things that are not possible in reality may be possible here. For example, if I can leave this island. If I can go beyond the ocean. The girl that O24 and I wanted to meet said that even though she knows the world is big, she would not be able to see it for herself. What could she have meant? Was she in a place that limited her world, as I was unable to leave the island? Just when it seems that the images flowing around me have stopped, I find myself in an unknown room. There's a bed there. Next to it is a flat screen monitor. There are also white shelves surrounding the bed. To one side is a stand for an intravenous drip. There's a machine connected to it by cords. Though it is small, it appears to function as a life signs monitor. This is similar to the research facility. Could it be a hospital? The voices that sound from somewhere belong to a man and a woman. I've not heard these voices before.
She said during this morning's checkup that she wanted to go to school. She asked how much better she needs to get to be able to go.
Ah, there's the school connection.
Understandable.
This ward is right near the road most of the students take. She must have been lonely too, not having seen her parents lately. How much better she needs to get. She still doesn't know that her condition is incurable.
Why don't you be honest with her and tell her she won't ever be able to go? It's cruel to string her along like this.
Shh, keep your voice down. Room's next door.
I understand at once that these people are speaking to the girl I wish to meet. The scene feels as if it comes from my own memory. I do not doubt it at all. The girl is suffering from some kind of illness. She may not be able to go outside. Her condition prevents her from leaving her small world. Her life is like ours. Could the girl have heard this conversation? How did it make her feel to hear it? I want to spend some more time in the outside world. I want to live a normal life. Thoughts that come to my mind are not my own.
I wonder if the nurses thought things like the student council were too much trouble to bother with when they were in school. I don't know. It sounds fun to me.
Just as I thought, it is the girl's voice. When I listen to her, I can sense her strong yearning and admiration.
You gotta admire the student council president. I mean, they're the ones that get things done for everyone. But I guess it's because they're like that in the first place that they get to be president, huh?
The girl had a strong desire to attend school and live a normal school life with friends. As I review these voices and feelings, an interest in the school she longs for grows within me.
High school. I wonder what that's like. Would it be fun?
I wish to see for myself what she desires. Is there a specific image of it? What kind of places and what activities do its attendants perform while there? There are no memories in regards to schools. This must mean that the girl has no such memories.
Figures. I don't know anything about schools or whatever else student life is like.
Want to see them.
I can show you if you so desire.
The voice answers my unspoken thought. Who could it be? I don't think I know this voice. For some reason my mind becomes hazy. I cannot access my memories easily.
Huh? Who's there?
There's no need to be alarmed. I only want to give you a glimpse of the world you long to know.
I was under the impression that this was a dream. Dreams are supposedly a release valve for memories, yet this voice does not feel like a part of me. Is that even possible? As I ponder these things, the scenery around me changes completely. I first see a 3-story concrete building. I do not know this building. As I examine it, my surroundings change again. The same desks and chairs are lined up. In front of me is a dark green rectangular board on the wall.
Is this a school? A real classroom?
This is the place the girl wished to see. It is here that I have gained an interest in. I found myself forgetting that this is a dream and focused my senses to the desks and chairs. I then realized that I could move around at will, just as when I felt my body rise at the beach.
So this is where classes happen.
I feel a sudden excitement.
What do the students do when there aren't any classes? Do they just talk and stuff?
That mysterious voice doesn't answer. Instead, I'm surrounded by other sounds. Many voices are talking at once. It reminds me of the sound of waves near the ocean. But the sound is lively and enjoyable. The voices belong to boys and girls surrounding a desk. They are laughing and talking. They wear common clothing, though there are some differences. These may be uniforms. It is interesting to see that each person's uniform is distinct in some way. That student is the only one with something around his neck. A girl with short hair and a green jacket raises her right hand. Next to her is a girl with long black hair wearing a red jacket. She smiles. Then there is a well-built young man with strange spiky hair. In contrast to him, I can see a small, delicate, intellectual-looking young man. Last, I see a young man with a calm demeanor, sitting at a desk. The front of his uniform is open, his white shirt is showing. They seem to be talking about something. I cannot quite discern what it is. The scene proceeds to show various points in a normal school day. Classes, activities, clubs, student council. It looks like so much fun that I can feel the excitement. Then I remember. This is all just a dream. I'm only dreaming. No matter how much I want it, there will never be a day when I can attend school for myself. All the scenes that I saw centered around the young man and his friends. I'll never join their circle. I cannot go to school. I'm not even human. I consider this self-evident truth once again. Though I look human, I am a machine made by humans. It does not matter how close my heart is to that of a human, or how much my ego develops. The mechanical body can never be truly human. Just as our mother could not overcome the obstacle of her illness, no matter how she wished for it, cannot overcome the obstacle of being a machine. It's futile for someone who cannot become human to yearn for a normal human life. There's a strange sensation somewhere in my chest that feels like pain. Still, although I am a machine created as a weapon, that girl loved me. What if there are other people like her who could understand me? Would I then be able to find a place to belong among them? But
You'll never find a place where you belong. Humans created you as a tool. They would never think of you as anything more. Everyone, to a man, lives by averting their eyes from something inside them. They all wish to live inside a never-ending dream. For who has the right to say they shouldn't?
just a moment, I sense an incongruity in the kind voice. Strange pain within my body softens a little.
There are even humans who do not understand others' feelings. Still others do understand, and trample upon them regardless. Compared to them, you are much more human.
Remember the researchers. They certainly did not understand me, O24, or my sisters. We were treated only as objects, even after they tried to give us a heart.
Why not then seek to be human?
Me? Be a human?
The voice whines gently inside my mind. I feel my body is growing uneasily light, as if the world is spinning around me.
People sort through their memories in dreams. Each night they let go of painful memories and continue their lives with the morning sun. That's all you need do. Forget anything contrary to your desires.
If I forget...
Do not fear the act of letting go. The ones you admire wished only for you to be happy.
My mind seizes upon something. That precious wish. That desire given to me to meet our mother someday and tell her, thank you. Must not forget that. But as long as this wish is precious to me, as long as I cannot erase it from my heart, the fact that I am not human will remain.
And I too. All I wish from the depths of my heart is for you to find joy.
Happiness.
I think back.
I wish from the depths of my heart for you to be happy.
I remember the girl who wished for our happiness. I want to grant that wish. I want to tell her thank you. That will be difficult for me now. In which case, should I not at least seize this opportunity and be happy here for her sake?
Forget. And be happy.
Vision goes dark. The sounds I heard fade away. I feel as if I am falling.
Everything is now in readiness.
Well, man, that whole section was so fucking good. I mean, good, man, it was so good. Like, that's kind of, like, one thing I've really been, like, super impressed with the Labrys storyline. Like, I mean, it's just a really solid, like, story in and of itself. Especially, like, even on its own, but just in the way it kind of connects with everything else. Like, the way you kind of, can see how the main story has been formulated, by it. And even just those little connections to, like, the original storyline, like the parallels between Labrys and Aegis from like Persona 3. I mean, the pier line like really kind of got me, like making that, you know, connection to Aigis and the main character of Persona 3 meeting on the pier. Presumably probably the same. I mean, maybe not the exact same pier, but similar enough in concept. Just really, really good. Yeah, the only real thing is, well, obviously we don't know who the voice is that's talking to her. We don't really know the explanation for why she has special cognitive manipulative stuff. Because it seems like that wasn't installed in her at the time, so it would have been installed after they made the decision to lock her up, which doesn't really make any sense. And then we don't really know why the school was Inaba in particular. I assume there's probably a reason for that, but I guess we'll find out as we continue our way through. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.